The sea star wasting syndrome, otherwise known as the sea star die-off, is literally causing starfish from Canada and Alaska down to the Mexican area to rip themselves apart.
The term sea star wasting refers to a set of symptoms, and they differ by species. The set of symptoms are as follows. Initially, there's going to be some sort of lesion or some sort of wound or damage to the individual. And then after that, it really differs by species. So this is Pycnopodea that we're seeing here, and they just dismember. You know, the arms separate many times from the rest of the body. They oftentimes walk away, and then they decay. And what's happening for the most part is there's an infection or secondary infection that causes stress in the animal. And then what follows is what we call wasting, which is in some species exactly what you're seeing in other species. It's necrosis and damage to the individual that takes longer, but oftentimes will result in death.
Sea star die-off from an OST perspective plugs in because through the state's investment in MPA monitoring that I just mentioned, we've worked to build a network of people around the network of MPAs. And because of this human network, we were able to, witness this change in these emergent patterns and changes in patterns in other ecosystems as well. And it puts us in a place where we're poised to take action.
So the Research Coordination Network is a team of over 40 scientists, basically around the world, who are getting together to set priorities, to examine events exactly like this, and whether there are human-related causes associated with them. And so it was really fortuitous when this event started that we actually had our network in place, and we were able to set up collecting protocols that were standardized, help get teams together, and also be able to access quarantine facilities like a fish dryers lab where we were able to work.
I went out to a dive site that I frequent because it's easy to get to, it's pretty repeatable, and I saw what looked like a battle zone, essentially. There were sea stars literally tearing themselves apart just due to the weight of their bodies as they hang on the pilings, laying everywhere. They were falling apart. They were just these kind of piles of bacteria. They just looked like white splats on the seafloor.
From a biological point of view, from an ecological point of view, most of them that we're interested in are top predators. And that means that they eat a lot. Very few things eat them, and so they can have a pretty big effect on the community.
And if we completely lose that keystone species, it's definitely going to have, an avalanche of effects through the rest of the ecosystem.
I guess the take home on this is it's really difficult to identify a positive microorganism in a case like this. It takes a lot of work, and yet this is the essential thing, one of the essential things we need to know, because it's the tool that we can use to know whether there's a human component to this.
Yeah, I agree with everything that has been said, but I'm going to take a slightly different tack. This is the opportunistic tack, and that is that we are in a situation where we have one of the greatest ecological experiments that has ever been done on the West Coast going on right now. There are dramatic and important predictions about the responses of communities when you lose top predators. And what we have is an experiment that's being done over a range that is unprecedented. And so for me, one of the exciting things going forward is going to be to follow and see what is going on with these communities, because this may be a portent of what will happen when we start losing other things, either due to climate change or to natural occurrences. And it has never been done on this sort of scale before. So from a scientific perspective, it's a very exciting time as well.